Oh, I was addicted to television.
All right. Tell us about that.
That has a lot to do with what I do now. So I was completely addicted to television. Of course, I loved going outside to play, doing arts. I was always into the art. So I was also a visual artist. So I drew, and I still draw and paint. And so I was into that. But I really loved, there was something about television and movies that drew me in.
Before, it was not a good thing to see blood on the screen, no? But now it's like that is what people want to see. They want to see people dying, no? They want to see people really suffering. Like the suffering have become something to enjoy, no? Like you see a man walking across the road, the man is falling. Instead of you helping, you take your phone and take a picture of him falling. So that what the people are going to like is not you going there to take this man away from, stop him from being falling. They want to see the man falling. The falling is the interesting part of it, which is people are really glorifying the human suffering.
There are platforms available that are open to the average person to be able to do that, to leverage the creator economy. But there also needs to be a level of support. And we have to be real and fair and honest that often our governments don't lend that support, right? They don't find it important. They find other personal things more important, and that hinders all types of development, including the development of the creative industries. My name is Chetachi Egwu, or Dr. Chetachi Egwu, and people know me colloquially as Dr. Tachi. I am a media professor, a filmmaker, a media content producer, and also a journalist. I am the host and creator of a show called Mediascope, where I talk about all things media, tech, and pop culture on Wednesdays weekly. Even though we're on a hiatus right now, we'll be coming back soon. And I am the co-host and co-creator of a podcast called TV Channeling, where my co-host and I talk about all things TV, film, entertainment, and news in that strain. And then finally, I am the founder of a new network called Indie Soup Media that aims to show the independent content creator in his or her or their best light.
That is so beautiful, Dr. Tachi. I can see a lot of value in what we are going to be discussing today, because a lot of the people that are following Obehi Podcast, they had an inclination to business. Most of them are also in the creative economy, or what we call the creative economy today, because there is a lot of creativity in what we are doing today. So is that okay for you if we zoom lens on that, looking at maybe the opportunity that we have as a people within the creative economy?
Absolutely. I think, sometimes the emphasis tends to be so much on STEM, which is very important, the sciences, etc. In fact, in many places, there is, especially in the US, there is a huge push and emphasis toward STEM and pushing younger students into STEM fields, or the, science and technology fields. And that is necessary and it's needed, because so many countries are way ahead of us when it comes to adopting technology. And it's interesting because you think that the US is so far ahead technologically. Not really. Not when you look at places in Europe and Japan and elsewhere, in Asia. We're not as far advanced as we think. And so there's that push to have our students catch up with the rest of the world, which is important. But it has been shown, studies have shown, that you also need the arts, that you also need these creative fields, and that the creative economy is necessary. All we have to do is look at the numbers of people, and I'm speaking specifically like the US and Canada, but even more specifically the US, where during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic, people decided, you know what? I've had it with this corporate job. I've had it with the mistreatment. This is the time for me to start my own business, right? And for many people, starting their own businesses looked like becoming full-time content creators, putting their energies and efforts into buying the equipment and coming up with the content that would put them in a place to be a full-time creator. So that's what I think.
That is fantastic. That is really fantastic. Okay, you have made mention of US or Canada. Of course, we could actually enlarge that because we are entirely about African diaspora. So irrespective of where you might find yourself, that can be really important for us. And again, we're going to be also see that if there is a way to also add the Africa, which is the motherland where we are coming from, into the conversation, because looking at the African demography and the African population today, we could actually see that we have a huge advantage in terms of the demography, where we have a high percentage of young people in the population. And the young people, of course, are also mostly inclined to technology. So if we're talking of the creative economy, the use of technology is very important in this area, and their young mind can also be very helpful in that area. And that also can be also relevant if we were to look at how our economy is set up, no? Like maybe, for example, you look at how the European economy is set up or how the Western economy is set up. You finish your school, you have your job almost secure for you. But in Africa, it's not like that, which is supposed to be an advantage in that now, as you are growing up, you need to know that you need to care for yourself. You need to find your own job. If the creative economy is the option, it means just create your own company. Just start doing something. Just start adding value. So you're already in it. All right. So that is just a kind of a preamble. Now I want to take a step back. So Dr. Tachi, tell me a little bit about you. I'm looking at you now as a young girl. You are about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the teenage year. Tell me, what do you remember of you growing up?
Oh, I was addicted to television.
All right. Tell us about that.
that has a lot to do with what I do now. So I was completely addicted to television. Of course, I loved going outside to play, doing arts. I was always into the art. So I was also a visual artist. So I drew and I still draw and paint. And so I was into that. But I really loved, there was something about television and movies that drew me in, even to the point where my parents started calling me TV addict. I was like, well, it is what it is. So I was very much into the concept of creating something and having people watch what you create, which is like my sister and I would always come up with plays and do things. And so to me, television was just the manifestation of the plays that we made up, which basically is what it is, right? And so that's what I remember definitely about growing up, in addition to doing all things creative, because initially I wanted to be a fashion designer. So because of my drawing skills, I would draw things and then go and have them made. I sewed a little bit, but that wasn't my thing. My thing was actually the designing of it. But yeah, that's what I remember growing up, very heavily into all things creative. If it was creative, I did it. In addition to dance, because I'm a dancer choreographer as well. So anything creative, that was my thing.
That is lovely. That is lovely.
Yeah.
All right. So where did you grow up? Tell me about that.
So I grew up born in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And then when I was young, my father got a job at the University of Buffalo. So we ended up moving to Buffalo, New York. For people who aren't familiar with the United States, we ended up moving to Buffalo, New York. And most of my growing up was there between Ann Arbor, Michigan and Buffalo, New York.
All right, Buffalo, New York. We must remember the song of Bob Marley, Buffalo Soldier.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, of course, that is a name that usually will come to mind now when you made mention of Buffalo. Very young age now, you will be tickling with the creative act. You'll be drawing. You'll be doing all sort of things. And that is really very interesting. Now, if you look at yourself, look at where you are coming from. Okay, I also see your name sound very Nigerian, no? Which of course
it is. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say anything about that because we are talking about storytelling here and we are actually using storytelling to. Hi, and thank you for checking out this short clip from Obehi Podcast. I'm Obehi Egwu, the host of the Obehi Podcast. This short clip was created from a full episode where we dive deep into this conversation. To see the entire video, all you need to do is to click on the link in the description of this video. Now, while you are there, I want to share something with you quickly. Are you a purpose-driven entrepreneur? Do you want to cut across the noise and attract the right audience, leveraging the power of storytelling? Now, pay attention. I'm currently working on a signature program to help you own your story and stand out for the competition. It's a 5-step journey to help reshape your professional and business narrative so you can drive success and stand out in the competition. And in less than 90 days. The link is what you see on your screen, academy.aclasses.org/story. Now, this is what we have understood. Storytelling is the most powerful instrument that is known to man. And this is what this could mean to you. You could either choose to own your story and leverage it to amplify your message and whatever you represent in this world, or some other person could own that story. The choice is yours. So why don't take advantage of your story and use it wherever you are, whether you are in business environment or you are a professional individual who want to be able to build your influence and leave a legacy behind because you represent something. You are owning your story. You are somebody whose story is important. So the choice again is yours. Now let's get started with this short clip.